谢谢各位读者大驾光临。我是鹦鹉螺文化的译者兼编辑兼设计兼发行。我叫陈东琛。真的很荣幸这次能够请到国际闻名的大作家休豪伊到现场跟各位读者见面。也很感谢这次著名的版权经纪人谭光磊先生，特别所有的行程都是由谭光磊先生一手安排的，非常辛苦，也非常感谢他。
今天首先我觉得能够休豪伊能够坐在这边呢，要感谢2个人哦。第一个就是刚刚的这个陈东成先生呢，因为他不仅是出版人，大家都知道鹦鹉螺出版社是一个艺人出版社，所以他基本上是校长兼撞钟。他要翻译，他要编辑，他要做，好像听说连排版跟封面设计都是自己做的。那本来今天的活动其实应该是他跟休豪伊来对谈，因为我觉得一个是独立出版，一个也是独立出版的。好，但是呢，这个陈东成先生已经病了2个月了啊。那为什么病了2个月呢？据说他每次只要有新书，卖得越好，他就病得越重。那尘土记因为就羊毛记卖得非常好嘛，那尘土记只会卖得更好。他为了赶这个书，所以已经就病了2个月，所以就不忍心再让他上来受折磨了。好，那第2个要感谢的人呢是休豪伊今天其实是忘记带了他的入场券，对，所以我们本来刚刚差点进不来，对，后来我们就打电话给一位编辑朋友，先出版集团的总编曹仲尧先生，对，然后他就拿票给我们，然后在脸书上说能够借票给休豪伊是我人生最高的成就，对，所以我们非常谢谢他。我觉得想先请休豪伊谈的是，就大家都知道，尘土记是羊毛记故事的结局，但其实这个并不是在国外出书的那个顺序啊，就是在美国它是先出羊毛记之后，出了一个前传叫做新遗记，之后才去出这个尘土记，对，但是在台湾陈东成先生觉得说，好像应该先让故事有个了结，不然读者会一天到晚打电话去骚扰他，所以他就决定先提前出版把结局做完。对，那我想请休豪伊来谈一谈，说为什么他当初要先去写前传，然后再来写结局。
Thank you, Gray. None of this would happen without Gray, my agent, who brought the book here. Eric, who does all this himself. It's amazing what he's done. But the readers are the ones that make this happen. If none of you would have bought the book, Eric never would have called me again. He wouldn't have sent me another email, and he would not have invited me to Taiwan. So for every one of you who purchased a book, you're the reason I got to come to Taiwan. Thank you very much. Do you want to do that before I answer the question? So I like the way these are published. When I wrote Wool, I was really worried about following up this action-packed adventure and how I would top it. So I wrote this other book, Shift, first, which told the origin story. And it was a way of me building up the confidence to write Dust. Eric had the luxury of having all 3 books to release, I think, in a better way. So it's really nice for the readers who picked up Wool 6 months ago that you can now finish the story without even waiting a year. And it's been a bestseller. Again, I thank all of you. It's just amazing to have your support. I really, really appreciate it.
如果有在 follow 休豪伊的脸书，就会知道他之前一直心心念念说来台湾要做的第一件事就是他要去爬101。对，因为大家知道小说设定是在一个地下的地堡，那总共有144层，那他就觉得说哇，101居然就地球表面居然有这样子类似结构的建筑，那所以这是他来台湾做的第一件事情。我想请他谈一谈他去爬101的感想，还有就是说他当时为什么会设定一个地下144层的地堡。
Yeah, it was beautiful seeing the building, and I didn't get to walk the stairwell because they only open it for the emergencies and for the marathon. But I got to the top and I could see down between the stairwells all the way to the bottom, and it made my stomach feel a little funny. And to realize that I had my characters doing this all the time, I started feeling bad for them. It was really incredible to see that this building is not even as tall as the one that I made up, and it was already very daunting to think about the height. The reason for the structure, this is a book really about the world that we live in. It seems like a strange world in the story, but I wanted to write a book about the class levels that we live in and the way we treat each other and the way we view each other. And in this world, the levels are divided into 3 classes. You have the up top, you have the mids, and you have the down deep. And the heroes live in the down deep, and they're treated very poorly. And the people up top have all the power, and they don't treat everybody very well. So this is a story about the people at the bottom coming up and fighting for freedom and for equality. And so that's the purpose for the structure. Everything in the story, you can enjoy it on the surface level and enjoy the adventure, but there's a meaning behind everything. And I get emails from readers who see these meanings and who understand what I'm talking about, and it's really an incredible feeling to connect with readers like that and have them get the point of the story.
我想请问一下修豪一先生啊，如果他身处在地堡之中，他会想要当首长去带领整个地堡的人，或者是说他对里面住哪一层啊，当哪个职位特别的有兴趣？然后另外一个问题是，他能否透露一下，就是他下一部的书的大概的内容，或他正在写的一些东西
？I would be the farmer. My dad was a farmer. I grew up on a farm, and I think of all the people who live in the silo, the farmers are the closest to living outside. They have the soil, they have the sun lamps, and I think it's of all the jobs, we don't appreciate the people who make our food. Those are the most important. We take it for granted that there's food everywhere, but those are the most important people. Without them, none of these other jobs would be possible. So I would love to have dirt under my fingernails and be a farmer. And the second part was a spoiler. No.
你好，我想请问作者，就是当你在创造这个故事中的人物的时候，你的构想是来自你周遭的人事物，还是就是你自己凭空想象出来的？谢谢。
It's a good question. It's a little of both. The person that you know the best is yourself. All of the secret fears and the things that you really hate about yourself, that you try to hide from the world, and the things that you love about yourself but you don't want to brag about to the world. These are these secret parts of you that you know so well. And what we find is that everyone has these secrets. Creating a character sometimes is taking a part of you that you know well and making that the central part of another character. So for me, and I think for a lot of writers, you're constantly writing about yourself and different people. And you're also, every time you watch a TV show or a movie or read a book, you absorb all the characters that are in those stories. And later, when you're trying to dream up characters, some of those people, they've mixed and they become someone new, and they'll just pop out of nowhere. And it's hard to explain how this works, but it's like them coming out of a crowd, like one of you stepping out onto the stage, and I know everything about you immediately. I don't have to build it from scratch. It's like a fully formed person. And that's how a lot of my characters appear to me.
刚刚讲到说，它是地堡是一个3层的结构嘛，然后有底层，讲的是一个底层的小人物，追求自由和追求公平的故事。对，那这个也是我相信很多读者跟我有一样的疑问，就是小说的主角朱丽叶啊，她是一个是一个修水电工、修机械工这样的人。那我们好像很少在小说里面看到这样子的女性角色。那而且她还谈了一场相差超过10岁的姐弟恋。对，那我想问修豪一先生说，为什么会设定这样子的人物关系还有角色？
The pleasure, I'm a reader first before I became a writer, and I still consider myself an avid reader. And the joy of becoming a writer is that you get to create the stories that you feel like were missing when you were reading. You get to plug in the gaps in the library. And so I feel like some stories have been told enough. The young girl who has 2 guys who both love her, and the biggest problem in her life is figuring out which studly guy to spend the rest of her life with. That doesn't seem like a bad problem to me. So I think having something different and unusual, a woman who is a little older and mature and thinking about more serious problems, and also a relationship where the woman was the more experienced, and instead of being the one fawning over the guy who knew everything, this was a chance for women to be the one who know more than the man, which I find to be more common than the other way around. So I enjoy writing stories that I don't feel already exist, and I think that's one of the reasons these books do really well is people open them up and they think, I haven't read anything like this before, and those are the books that I want to discover, so they're the books I want to create.
好，那大家也知道这个羊毛记已经卖出了电影版权，是异形的导演雷利·斯考特，还有一个非常有名的编剧史蒂夫柴里安，他曾经编过那个辛德勒名单。对，那我觉得很难免的就会想要，我们读的时候也会想说，如果说这个东西影像化了，那可能会有哪些角色？虽然我们都知道好莱坞要拍电影要拍成非常非常难，但是我还是想问问看薛豪一先生他有没有心目中理想的演这个朱丽叶的角色的女演员的人选
？Yeah, I have people that I see when I'm writing, and who's the actress from Lost? Kate Evangeline Lilly was one character that I thought of with Juliet. When Ridley Scott got in touch, I started thinking of the people that he's worked with, and directors enjoy working with the same actresses. So Charlize Theron, who I love as an actress, is someone that he's worked with. And frankly, I didn't think we could get someone like Charlize Theron until Ridley Scott came on board, and then I thought, we can have whoever we want. There's not enough roles like this for women in Hollywood where they get to be a strong female and be the main character. So it really is a wonderful role to reach out to actresses and let them have the center stage. So Noomi Rapace is another one that I think would be great as Juliet. And then something that I thought would be cute, I don't think we could get away with this, but I thought there's two older characters who are in love really early on in the book. And one could be Harrison Ford, who was in Ridley Scott's Blade Runner, and the other could be Sigourney Weaver, who was in Alien, and they would have this romance, and it would be a way of Ridley kind of bookmarking or bookending his career. But I think something like that's too cute. That's my wild imagination, and part of me also just loves getting actors that aren't famous so that when they come on the stage, they're just that character. You don't think, oh, that's Brad Pitt, and it takes a while for it not to be Brad Pitt. And it gives a new actor a chance to start their career.
羊毛记是要被改编成电影，那么请问一下薛豪一先生，是改编电影的时候，你会全程加入，或者是去关注电影的改编，还是就是让他自己就是改编完上映之后再去看？因为很多小说改编成电影之后，会发现跟原著会有一些差距。
It's a great question. And since we have a lot of questions, if people want to tweet me their questions later, I can answer some of those directly if we don't have time to get to everybody. So I got to meet with the producers and the screenwriters over a year ago, early on, and we went over the plan for how the story would take place. Movies have to be different from the books. There's not enough time to do everything unless you're doing The Hobbit and you make a 20-hour movie. So I agree with the changes they want to make to the film, but I really want them to write it so I can concentrate on writing more books. I love George R.R. Martin. I consider him a friend, and he's so involved in making a great TV show, and I'm sure he's making it better, but when are we going to get the next book? And I like what I do, and I like them doing what they do best. Also, if they mess it up, I can blame them. If it's great, I can take all the credit for writing the book.
然后我们早上有聊到这个问题，那他说，他其实，他是因为大家都知道电影很难拍成，所以他其实不抱太大的期望。但是呢，他偶尔会做白日梦的时候，想的不是说电影拍好了他进电影院去看，而是呢，他们在卖那个电影版权的合约里面有一个规定，就是说如果电影开拍了，片商必须免费让他去片场住1个礼拜，然后他就可以去天天看他们造景，然后看他们喊camera action。然后去吃那个免费的自助餐，所以这个是他的白日梦。
我想请问修豪一先生，那个《羊毛记》最初是从什么样的想法开始的？是从擦拭镜头开始吗？
Yeah, great question. Because this takes place in this silo, a lot of people think the silo is the thing that I started with, the central character. For those of you who haven't read this, the only view these people have of the outside world is one screen on the top level. And the image comes from a camera outside. And people have to go out and clean the camera, and they die outside. And that's the only way they keep the view clear. It's a very happy story. This single screen, I thought of this as I stopped my sailing and settled down with my wife, and I noticed that we rely on one screen to tell us about the world. That screen is our TV, our internet connection, our monitor, our newspaper. That's the only way that we know the outside world. And I had been to places like Cuba and Colombia and all these places, and when I saw the view that would have showed on the screen, it wasn't the same that I had seen from being there as a young man. The world was always better than the screen told me it was. Because we tell each other bad news. That's otherwise we'll change the channel. So I wondered what this does to us, to live in a world where the only view we have is that the neighbor is dangerous. The faraway places will kill us. Does that damage our hope? Does it make us not want to travel and see the world with our own eyes? And the people who are brave enough to go see the world are, to me, those are our heroes. The people who, the people who know that this is not the true world, that it's better out there than the screen tells us. So that's why I created this story. That's what it was all about. The silo was just a place to hold that screen.